Hey, family. In a previous series, I talked about the importance of knowing what your purpose is. What is your next, I think was the name of the series. And I talked about how it's really time. It's time for us to really pursue what we're here for. In Matthew 24, Jesus talks about the end times and how it will be so bad that if you're on the roof, don't go back in the house. He says if you're in the field, head for the hills. Now, we're not there yet, but now is a good time to get spiritually fit, work out, and be strong so that we're ready. I'm Patsy White, and this is another 3-minute ministry to motivate your month. We're coming to the end of a 7-part series, and the 7-part series was called 7 Steps to Reassemble the Pieces of Our Lives Post-Pandemic. I lettered them A through G. A was acknowledge your losses. B was build new routines. C was create meaningful moments. D was discard the unimportant. E was to engage in relationships. And today, F, the 6th session, is uh, finding your passion. So I wanted to talk about a few ways that we can really find our passion. And there, first is prioritizing our relationship with God. That's one. 2 is bearing fruit for the kingdom. And 3 is being willing to be pruned. John chapter 15 talks about, in 1, he says, I am the true vine, and my Father is the husbandman. Christ is our source and God is our keeper. The true vine implies that there's a false one. And false vines are idols, the things that we believe or are deceived in thinking are providing for us or our source. But when we recognize that God is the farmer who plants the seed, who waters it and weeds it and fertilizes it and brings forth us as a harvest, then we can remember that we must stay connected to the vine. Bearing fruit for the kingdom. Later, John 15, chapter 4 says, abide in me and I in you. Excuse me, chapter 15, verse 4. Abide in me and I in you. As a branch cannot bear fruit of itself except it abide in the vine, no more can ye except ye abide in me. This is a beautiful gift. This is the promise that our efforts don't have anything to do with the fruit we produce. So we don't have to put all our effort into that fruit. We just have to be willing to be surrendered to being part of the branch of Christ. And then being willing to be pruned. In John chapter 15, verse 2 in the Amplified, it says, every branch in me that does not bear fruit, he takes away. And every branch that continues to bear fruit, he prunes, so it'll bear more fruit. So pruning is an important part of shrubbery health. It removes dead and diseased branches so that more fruit can come, but it also helps distribute, the life force of the tree or branches into other parts so that all fruit, fruit bears in all of the branches. So God is pruning what is unproductive in our lives, what's diseased, what's dysfunctional, so that we can bear fruit for Christ. And even when we have, attachments to those dead things, we get to be willing to let them go because God knows what's good for us. We don't always know. And so finally, these 3 steps, these are about our passion. And our job is not to force or bear or do effort to make fruit. Our effort is in keeping in the vine. And so the Lord wants us to use us to bring more and more people into the kingdom. And that's the fruit that comes through us. And the more we surrender, the more our branches can yield fruit. The more we're not resistant to being pruned, so more fruit can come through us. And the more we blossom and become the expression of the love of God. So I pray that this ministers to you. If you like it down below, post a comment, share any thoughts on your heart. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for the final and last post. God bless you.